For 20 years, British TV viewers could watch the Queen's traditional Christmas message, followed by an alternate address, often by someone controversial. Well, this morning, that controversial message comes from none other than Edward Snowden. While his full address airs later this morning, a preview has been released. Listen.
A child born today will grow up with no conception of privacy at all. They'll never know what it means to have a private moment to themselves, an unrecorded, unanalyzed thought. And that's a problem because privacy matters. Privacy is what allows us to determine who we are and who we want to be.
Elise Labott is our foreign affairs correspondent. She joins us now from Washington. He's getting a lot of pub.
That's right, Carol. Well, it's usually delivered by a newsmaker. This alternative message, Edward Snowden joins the ranks of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, even Ali G and Marge Simpson, all of who've addressed British viewers at Christmas. And he's going to urge viewers really to rally against the kind of mass government surveillance that he revealed this year. He says this big brother type spying in Orwell's famous book 1984 is nothing compared to what's going on today. Let's take another listen.
The conversation occurring today will determine the amount of trust we can place both in the technology that surrounds us and the government that regulates it. Together, we can find a better balance, end mass surveillance, and remind the government that if it really wants to know how we feel, asking is always cheaper than spying. For everyone out there listening, thank you and Merry Christmas.
So, Carol, a very positive message from Edward Snowden about the world we'll live in today. But I think that over the years, he's obviously been a very controversial figure. And so he has gone from kind of revealing this NSA surveillance programs, I think, to being more of a provocateur and getting a dialogue going about the kind of programs that are going on right now.
You know, it just enters my mind. He did tape that in Russia, right? Because he can't leave, and Russia's not exactly, you know, a place where freedom of speech flourishes. And if he said anything against Russia, Russia probably wouldn't let him release this message. And he's just a complicated guy, and it's a complicated issue, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, I think it's interesting, and there's a bit of hypocrisy going on, as you say, because in Russia there's a very little freedom of expression, and you've seen over the last year President Putin cracking down even further on his opposition. And one of the conditions of Edward Snowden's so-called temporary asylum is that he wasn't going to do any more leaks against the United States. But you've seen, you know, he's passed a lot of information to journalists Glenn Greenwald and others. And so you've seen these selective leaks over the years, and officials say they really have no idea how much information he really has, and it could be just the tip of the iceberg. So at very select moments, it seems to inflict kind of maximum controversy, maximum damage to U.S. prestige over the world. We could see in the coming weeks and months even more programs. We really have no idea how much information he has or what's going to be linked by his so-called proxies.
Elise Labott, many thanks. Still to come in the newsroom today is